Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Monday, September 30th. It is 6:24 right now. Market's gonna open in about 6 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. A few more things here to update and we should be good to go. All right, looks like we are good to go. So let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. But we are good to go. All right, cool. So as people join in, I'm gonna go ahead and start market liquidity over here. It's gonna mark the closest levels. All right, all right here. Down to the 10 minute. That was a lot of liquidity, both sides today. Down to the 1 minute. And it looks like we are good to go. So, all right, guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, September 30th. It is 6:28 right now. Market's going to open up in about 2 minutes. I marked up liquidity over here. Maria said she can't hear me. Can you guys hear me? Just want to make sure. Yeah, everyone can hear me, Maria. It might be your volume. Perfect. Thanks, guys. All right, guys, we got market opening up in about a minute. I'll know the direction of the breakout in a few moments. I'll be posting it in the chat for you guys. So we got market opening up in about a minute now. All right, guys. So breakout is posted in the Zoom chat. You guys are in the Zoom chat. So direction is posted there. We got market opening up in about 50 seconds. I'll count down at the last 10 seconds. Once we get to that end of the countdown, go ahead and enter your position for the breakout if you guys do plan on taking it. All right, we got liquidity right here getting knocked out. We got market opening up in about 30 seconds. Man, these allergies are confusing me. Coughing all morning. All right, guys, we got market opening up in about 10 seconds. We've got market opening up in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Market is now open. We got the breakout running right now.
Order filled.
We might get some choppy manipulation here on open, so I'll follow through with it. Calories are super annoying. All right, so let's see these parameters up here proper. So I gotta move my TP to 691 and my stop loss to 491. So this typical Monday movement, guys. You guys get these big spikes here in both directions. So I'll come back and take a look at the breakout shortly. And I'll leave this at that right now. Here, I'm going to go here to our breakout chart, actually. I'm going to analyze the pre-movement. Let's go here real quick. Let's go here to 5:30. Just identify what happened during London session. Kind of get an idea what's going to happen next. That right there. So it was pretty much a big range between like all right, so stop loss hit for the breakout for the day. It's all good. First day of the week.
Stop filled.
Stop filled on that. We'll be looking for some market flow V2s at 640. So I did some like I said on Friday, I was gonna do a couple models. So I did a couple models of the breakout entry. So for the breakout entry over here, I'm gonna do the reverse NFP on Friday. Sorry, guys, I'm gonna keep coughing today. For some reason, my allergies are super bad. But for NFP, I'm gonna do the opposite trade. I've done the models over here. So this is the regular breakout entries. So basically, if I was to take every breakout entry, including the NFP entries, the profit for basically a 2-year period, minus about 6 months per year, it was about 3,000 profit in points, 3,000 points in profit, total of 164 trades. This is with no NFP. So if I was to skip every NFP, the profit would be a little less, 2,900 with about 137 trades. And then this is where I found the best stats. The best stats is when I took the opposite trades for NFP. Same amount of trades as the regular, but more profit, 4,000 points. And then when I skip the trades, when we have back-to-back losses, the profit yielded pretty decently, pretty close to it. It was about 4,000 with every single trade. And then with the reverse NFP, it was 3,700. One other thing that I changed too as well, or one thing that I added to the criteria was I segregated the losses for weekly losses. So instead of having like 2 losses and then you just kind of stop taking trades until 2 back-to-back wins, now what I've done is I've segregated them to weeks. So instead of having a loss on Friday, Monday, then you'd skip trades. It would just be losses for the week. So if you have a loss Monday, Tuesday, then you'd skip Wednesday. If you had a loss Wednesday, Thursday, you would skip Friday, etc. So those are the stats and the criteria for the breakout. Today, unfortunately, was a loss for the breakout. This was kind of expected for a Monday because there's a lot of manipulation that happens on this day. Tomorrow, we'll determine whether we're going to skip Wednesday or whether we're going to keep taking it. Otherwise, I'll keep looking here for some market flow V2s, and then we'll go from there. 1 second, guys. This weather changes like getting to me with my allergies. Let's see. David said, I think the market is affected by the situation in the Middle East. Yeah, I agree with you too, because there's a lot of talk of a war that's likely to break out because of what happened with the bombings from Israel to that ended up killing the official in the Middle East. So like there's been a lot of talk about a possible war breaking out in the near future, and that's kind of what's affecting the market as well, because war does affect the market in general. So anyways, guys, back to what I was saying earlier. So looking at this over here, we have some high impact news or medium impact news, I believe, coming up shortly. We got Chicago PMI at 645. We had Fed Bowman speaking over here at 650. I don't know if Fed Bowman was still speaking right now on open, but we do have some medium impact coming up over here at 645. So 645 medium impact news. And then we have more news over here at 730, which is low impact. Otherwise, if you guys took liquidity, looks like all the liquidity here got hit pretty much here on open. So this got hit pre-market. So if you took these two levels of liquidity right here, full TP, and then lower levels right here as well. This level would have gotten hit. This level got hit. This level got hit. This one over here, which was at the sessions. And of course, this level right here. Opening prices right here. And let me mark up the losing trade for 1 second, guys. All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry. These allergies are just out of control today. All right, so looking at price right here, you can see how price got manipulated to the bottom very early on in the session, and then it's swung right back up right here. You can see right there, it's kind of just sitting right there. Let me go ahead and take a screenshot of this real quick, and then I'll put this in the criteria for the breakout for the day. Sorry, guys, let me step away for again for 1 second. All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry, whenever I step away, I'm just going away to cough or sneeze. So only trade for the day that we took was the breakout. Breakout unfortunately did not play through today, which is normal. You know, the strategy from what I pulled up here. So looking at the data that I pulled here from earlier, guys, or from the weekend, this is a 2-year stat. 94 wins divided by 151 trades. It is a 62.3, or basically a 63% win rate, which is pretty good for a breakout. The thing that you guys have to understand with the breakout is that it's not going to be a high win rate strategy, but long term, it's going to yield very good profits. So for example, here, it is a 3,700 point profit for a 2-year period minus 6 months. So we'll probably multiply that by 2. So 3,700 times 2, that's 7,400 points for a 2-year period. 3 times 5 times 7,400. It yields about a 100,000 profit. So that's how I'm going to stick with the breakout. I think the breakout's a good strategy long term. It's just being able to withstand the losses. Because what I've noticed is that sometimes there'll be a lot of back and forth, but during some weeks there's going to be a lot of times where the market is goes on a win streak, and that's usually where the profit's going to yield. So all right, guys, 6:39 right now. It's about 1 minute till 6:40. 6:40 is when the market flow V2 start to come up. So if you guys want to look for an entry, I'll start looking for some entries here shortly. The only problem here is that we're really close to the sessions right here. So I'll mark up the market flow V2. Again, if you guys want to take this entry with the original parameters, feel free. I'll mark up the big one first. If you guys don't want to take the big one, that's completely fine. I totally understand, especially when there's a lot of this manipulation happening here on Monday. So if you guys want to just go with the, you can go with the 60-30, you can go with the 30-30. or you can go with the 1030. It's really up to you guys. I'll put different criteria here depending on which one you guys want to take. And then I'll mark one up, and then depending on which one you guys want to take, you guys can set those up. So it's 640 right now, guys. If you want to take the market flow V2, entry is going to be set right here at the 42,480 mark. So the 40 right here is where your pending order would be if you guys are looking to take this market flow V2. We have high impact news or medium impact news right here at 645, so you might want to sit out of it. It's up to you guys if you guys want to take this or not. Obviously, I'm not going to take this because it's too close to news. But I'll keep following it just for the markup here. All right, so the volatility here is starting to get a little low. I think it's because the news is coming up. So at 645, I believe. 645, we have Chicago PMI. It's medium impact inflation news. The one thing that you guys want to keep in mind is that this is NFP week as well. So there's a lot of things in the market happening that's going to affect the market. Of course, we have NFP. It's the first of the month, basically tomorrow. Today's Monday. Usually NFP is going to be either a really good week or it's going to be a really bad week. That's typically how NFP works. So we'll see what happens. Look like what usually happens and what I've seen from the data that we've had in the past is like usually if Monday's a loss, that's usually like the only loss for the week, and then we shake it off throughout the rest of the week. So I'm hoping that's how the case is going to be this week. But again, there's no way to really know for sure until it actually happens. So again, if you guys are looking for the market flow V2, the entry is going to be right here at the 480 mark. If you guys have that pending order, you can put a buy limit order right there. We have medium impact news coming up right here at 640. So I personally wouldn't take it myself if there was an entry right here. It's about 2 minutes till news, so it's a little too close. But if you guys do want to take it, I would probably go with the smaller TP. I would go with the 1030 just to get in and out very quickly. I think this 3060 is going to be a little too spread out. So that's it's just my opinion on like this move right here. Just because there's high impact news, the problem with the high impact news is that you can get caught either in a really good position or a really bad one. Because once you're in there, it's either going to spike up or spike down. So entry is still set up right here. Once this candle closes, it's probably going to move closer to this point right here at this 470. So right now it's currently at the 480 mark. But on this next candle, it's probably going to drop down to the 470 mark. So still no fill yet. Entry now would happen right here at the 470 mark. Again, if you guys want to take this entry, I would take it with a 1030 so that you can get in and out very quickly. It's just going to fill and then come straight to your TP right away. We got news right here in about 2 minutes, guys. It's coming up shortly. Still hasn't filled yet. Entry still at that 470. Looks like it's going to drop even lower to the 460 here. So you want to be careful because this could be pre-news manipulation. Price can be manipulated here based off the news. The news here is forecasted to be positive. So this thing might spike right back up once news happens here at 645. All right, so the entry now is at it's at 450. So it's at the 450 mark right here. Still hasn't filled yet, so there's no market flow V2s that have come up. Again, there's news happening right here in about a minute, guys, so I wouldn't really recommend taking it, but we'll just follow through right here and see if this plays through. The breakout, not the breakout, the liquidity right here just got hit if you guys took that. So there's liquidity right here at 434. It just got hit for full TP. All right, we got news coming up in about 20 seconds. We got more liquidity sitting down here. This is another reason why I kind of would rather go with the breakout versus the market flow V2s because of the news. So situations like this, where you get caught in news like middle of the session, it's going to affect your entry. So the entry is still set up right here, guys, at the 450 mark. If you guys are looking to take that, I'll mark up the news right here. So not too much of a reaction based off the news. The news over here was positive as expected. Then we have some more medium impact news right here at 7:30, Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index. There's going to be news pretty much every day this week because of NFP, of course. So it's NFP week. We have a lot of inflation news coming out, payroll news coming out, employment news coming out. It's just a lot of stuff happening this week, of course. You guys know what happens during NFP. It's normal. It's nothing different. So the entry is still set up right here at the 450 mark, guys, if you guys are looking to take that. You want to be careful here because price might be reacting to the news. Like I said, the news here was positive. Market still hasn't really reacted to it yet. So I'd probably wait for a market reaction until you take it. But I'll just mark it up here for just so we can document the market flows. I'm not in this position, not planning on taking it. Like I said, guys, my main focus is going to be the breakouts. I've done the data on the breakouts, so I'm just going to keep taking the breakouts. And that's going to be my long-term move for these live sessions. I'll take these market flows once the market is kind of smoothing out a little bit. I think the market flow V2s are going to be a little tricky this week because of NFP. Tomorrow we have a lot of high impact news pretty much all throughout the session. This is going to be a problem for the market flows. Wednesday as well. We have pretty much news every day around like middle session. So it's gonna be a bit of an issue. Like, for example, Thursday, we have all the inflation news right here at 6:45. It's going to be tough taking market flow entries. And then, of course, Friday, NFP. So for today, it's not so bad, but there's still medium impact news happening right here at 6:45 and 7:30. All right, the entry is going to be moved down right here now, guys. The entry is now at the 440 mark. You guys are looking to take the market flow V2s. You guys can see the volatility here is not very high. It's actually really low right now. Not really too much here going on. So let's see. Let's go here to our clean chart. So we'll see if price ends up sitting around this area or if it bounces off or breaks through. So here's the current range right now. Not really too much going on. Price is below this level, and it's kind of just sitting in between this area right now. See if it breaks through. So again, if you guys are looking to take the market flow V2, the entry looks like it can technically be moved down to this point here, the 430, but I'll probably wait for the next candle. Yeah, so now it's going to be moved down to, or you could just leave it up here actually, because price is below the pivot. So it looks like the market flow V2 right here filled. If you guys wanted to take it for the smaller move, which is what I personally would take, the smaller move right here is currently running. If you want to take it for 30-30, you can take it for 30-30. But like I said, there hasn't been a reaction to the news yet. So I'm still kind of curious about how this here is going to react to the news first. So I'd be careful with taking any entries right here, right now. Because price has been coming down. News happened right here at 6:45. Price just kept coming down. There wasn't any reaction to the news where price was to go up. So we're still expecting a push up based off the news right here. I don't know exactly when that'll happen, but it's a big risk to take a sell right here, right now, at this very moment. So the market flow is currently running right now. It looks like the 10 points will probably get hit if it comes back down slightly. So looking at this here, price is coming back down further. Okay, so full TP on the 10-point move. So like I said, if you guys want to take the market flows, your best bet if you want to keep it safe is to just go for those 10 points. As you can see right here, price came up, filled it, went straight to TP. This bigger move right here is going to be it's going to be a bit of a risk because it's such a big move and then the news hasn't reacted to the bullish push yet. So if you guys want to keep taking these market flow entries, I would probably recommend taking the smaller ones, right? So first TP right there for market flow, if you guys took it for just 10 points. Again, if you want to take the next one, I'll mark up the next one here as well. So the first one right there for a full TP, we currently have a buy signal here. So at this point, you should probably close out for a small profit. If you guys are holding on to the position, I'd close out for a small profit right here because once the buy signal comes up, that means it's usually done for entries until another sell signal comes up. So if you guys are still in the position here for the bigger move, I would pull out for a small profit, wait for the next sell signal, and then once the sell signal comes up, look for the next entry. But yeah, if you guys are in the position, it's in profit right now, so you guys have a lot of opportunity here to pull out. If you guys want to hold on to it and you think price is going to come back down with the sell signal, then feel free to hold on to it. But like I said, you want to be safer than risky right now. Main reason is because the news here was positive. It hasn't came back up yet. So you can close out here for a pretty good profit. It's in profit about 30 points, it looks like right now. So basically would have hit your 30-30 at this point. So if you guys took the 10 points, full TP. If you guys took the 30 points, full TP as well. If you guys took the 60 points, it's still running, but it made it halfway to full TP. So at this point, I would have pulled out in profit, and then I would have waited for the next sell signal here to come up. So full TPs on both of these right here, 10 points, 30 points. The 60 points obviously still running right here. I'll move this away for a bit just so that you guys can see that I would have pulled out in this position because once the buy signal comes up in the opposite direction, you don't want to be holding on to it for too long. You want to wait for that sell signal to come up and then look for price to come back down and then look for a re-entry, right? So it's easier to take these smaller entries here or the smaller TPs because you can just get in and out very quickly with little to no risk really, because price is likely pushing your direction at least to some extent. So there goes that. And we'll continue waiting for the next opportunity here. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, let's check the news real quick, see if there's anything going on. Yeah, so this is what David was talking about earlier, how he mentioned, what's happening in the Middle East is affecting the market right now. So you can see all of the attacks over here from Israel. Obviously the war has been going on for a while now, but they started to kill, like a bunch of officials here started to get hit with these bombs. And it's really raising tension in the Middle East. This is going to affect it because the US backs Israel for the most part, right? So if we go into war, it's going to affect the US. That's why the markets here are getting kind of affected by it. Because if you guys ever traded during a war, you guys would know that like the market becomes super volatile. It becomes super volatile in all aspects. So just keep that in mind, guys. If you guys are kind of curious, what's going on with like these big spikes here. These big spikes don't necessarily mean it's based off of what's happening in the Middle East. The Middle East has some effect on it, but for the most part, there's a lot of other things going on in the market as well. We have NFP this week, we have inflation news, we have jobs data, we have employment data, we have a lot of stuff that's coming out this week. And as you guys know, NFP is like the most manipulated week of the month. The first week of every month is NFP. This happens every month. So if you guys have been trading with me for a while, if you guys have been trading all year, we're in September now. So this is the 9th month of NFP for this year. And if you guys have been trading with me for the past 8 years, that's a lot of NFPs. So, all right, there's not really much direction here, guys. As price continues to go back and forth. Like I said earlier, there's no entry here yet. This one is still running. So again, if you guys are taking, or if you guys took this entry, the entry is still technically running right now. The market flow V2, the big move is still technically running. Um, but you should have pulled out in profit already because the buy signal here came up. So there's two things that can happen here. The first thing is price switches in the direction of the trend. We have a buy signal here already. So there's one thing that can happen here. If price climbs up, you can look for market flows back up here. So if price comes above this area on retracement, you can catch more market flows back to the upside. That can be scenario one. Scenario two is if we get another sell signal. So right now, currently we have a buy signal. If we get a sell signal that comes up and price comes back lower, then you can go back and start looking for some more sells here, right? There's no specific direction that you have to trade in. It just depends on like where momentum is pushing and where the trend is currently pushing at the same time. So momentum right here is bullish. So with momentum being bullish, you're looking for the trend here to shift to the upside. However, the trend here is already bearish. So once this sell signal closes, you can start looking for some more entries back to the downside. The momentum signal doesn't have to be valid. It just has to be there. So once the sell signal comes up, you can start looking for entries. We're getting closer and closer to 7 o'clock, guys. As you guys can see, as we get closer to 7 o'clock, the market starts to consolidate sideways. This is why I don't trade after 7. If you guys want to keep trading, it's completely fine. You guys can continue to trade, and I'll look for some entries here for you guys. But for me, for the most part, my cutoff is pretty strict at 7 o'clock for the market flow V2s. So we have price coming back down right here. If the sell signal closes, we'll be able to start looking for some more entries here. So here is the market flow V2 entry. It's still currently running right now. Actually, it was down here. So the market flow V2 entry is still running right here, guys. I'll try to tie it in with the other entries that are currently coming up. Again, we need that sell signal there to close before you can start looking for some actual entries. So it hasn't closed yet. There's no opportunity here at this very moment. But once it does close, we can start looking for some possible entries there. It's just a matter of time until it does close. But because the volatility here is so low, so you guys can see the zone here that I drew. I drew the zone here about like 10 or 15 minutes ago. Nothing's really happened. Price is kind of just faking out. It's going back and forth between this area, pulls up, fakes out, comes back in. Not really too much going on there. All right, still no sell signal here, guys. Once the sell signal closes, I'll put this back on, and then we'll look for some more opportunities here. But at this very moment, there's nothing there yet. All right, still no sell signal, guys. So it looks like we're not really going to get much opportunities here until we get that sell signal. So again, two things that we're looking for here, guys. We're looking for price to swing above and climb up higher, or we're looking for price to come below and continue dropping from here. There's just not very much direction here. You can see it better on the clean chart. There's just nothing really going on here. That right there. All right, so it looks like price is climbing back up from where it's currently at. Again, there's no sell signal that's come up, so there's no opportunities for sells. We currently have a buy signal right here, but the trend's still bearish. So until we get a shift to the upside, there's not really going to be much opportunity here for entry, at least not yet. Looking at the ATR is currently at 27 right now. It's not super high like it was earlier, but actually it's dropped down even more. So it went from 27 to now 24, back to 25. All right, let's see if we get that sell signal finally. So again, we're looking for a sell signal here to come up. Once the sell signal comes up, we can start looking for those sells. However, until that happens, there's just nothing here to take. You guys can see the big spike in price right here on open. And then it just died out. So we had the big spike right here. And then now it's pretty much flat. Go here to the zones real quick. Let's see if we have any zones here to mark up. Should. All the zones are super high right now because price is so far away. Even for the 10-minute here. See if there's any lower zones down here. All right. So you guys can see the big zone right here. Prices are respecting these zones right here from the 15-minute time frame. It's kind of just sitting within this area right now. So I mean, it looks similar to our clean chart here. There's just not much going on. So these zones are marked up at whole numbers. These zones are marked up from the SR zones. It's respecting both of the areas there. Which you guys can see from both ends. Other than that, there's not really too much going on here. So looks like price is starting to shift to the upside. Again, if we have the shift back to the upside, we'll be looking for some possible buys here now. I just need these pivots here to catch up. So once the pivots catch up, look for this push up a little bit, retrace, and climb it up higher. So you guys can see how the manipulation happened right here on open, right? So market got manipulated super heavily right here, and then now it's correcting all the way back up to where it's supposed to go. So our breakout for today was a buy. We just got caught in the spike to the downside, which happens. You can't really control the manipulation like that or predict it. You can anticipate it, but like for the most part, you can't predict that price is gonna be manipulated to the upside or manipulated to the downside. Looks like right here, this is all pretty much huge manipulation fake out. And then now it's pushing right back up. Opening price is right here. So if we get a correction to the upside, that's going to be our target price point. So if you guys are looking to take this back up to open, my guess is that that's likely to happen, but I'd look for the confirmation first. So again, I look for price to push up, retrace, come back up. I'd look for a market flow V2 to the upside first. Once you have that market flow V2 to the upside, then in that situation right there, you would be able to confirm that it's going to push back up to open right here. But that's going to be the target price point. The thing with this here is that you're going to have a bit of an issue getting all the way up here because there's a bunch of sessions right here, right? We have the Asia low, we have the New York low. It's just a tricky area right now where it's currently sitting. All right. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, we'll keep looking here for some opportunities. At this very moment, there's still nothing here yet. Again, we basically want to see. So what I want to see here personally is I want to see this push up higher have the pivots come up a bit higher, retrace the pivots, and then climb up higher from there. Right. That's kind of what I want to see here. So when price comes up, retraces back down, you can look for entry down here, look for price to push up again, look for it to come back down, look for entry right there for market flow V2s. Since the bigger move is pretty much done with at this point, guys, you can still take the market flow V2s, but take them for the smaller TP stop loss. So basically, I would just go in for the 10 points. For one, because it's past 7 o'clock, the volatility here starts to die down past 7. Looks like we're getting the correction here before the volatility starts to die back down. The other thing is that the big move is pretty much done with already. So if you guys took the bigger move right here, you should have closed out in profit earlier. And now that price is back here, we'll be looking for some opportunities at the buy side. So like I said in the past, guys, I typically don't trade after 7, but if the volatility starts to pick up like it's supposed to in the fall season, then I would be inclined to take the bigger moves. Now that price is above here, the pivots are now climbing back up. You can start looking for some possible opportunities here for market flow V2s. So the market flow V2 is going to be right here at the 510 mark currently. So if you're looking for entry here, entry is going to be right here at the 510 mark. And like I said, guys, if you guys are looking for price to go back to open, that's pretty much where I'm anticipating price to push up to. Opening price right there. That's going to be the target. You might get some choppiness in between until price gets to that point, but eventually I'm expecting price to reach this point by today at some point, which will probably happen pretty soon. Let's see. Stanley said always seems to win big when I do small lot size. Yeah, that's always the case, right, Stanley? That's why I always like find that, consistency is really key. Whether you're going to keep taking big contract sizes or small contract sizes, you just got to stay consistent, because if not, the one time you change your contract size, it's going to happen to give you less profit because you're like taking lesser contracts. I mean, it's always like that. It's always been part of the game, right? Since you started trading, it's like you take a trade and then you lose and you take a smaller contract size, and then you end up winning, but then it's like it doesn't even cover what you lost on the previous trade because you took such a smaller contract size. Yeah, Stanley said he had to do the threshold. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, you did the smart move there. So what I think you're doing, Stanley, is I think you're going way too heavy on contract sizes. You gotta calculate the threshold. Like depending on how many trades you want to take, that's where you gotta calculate your threshold, right? Like for example, your threshold is 7,500. You just gotta divide it by how many trades you plan on taking. So if you want to take like 4 trades before you blow your account, you just divide it by 4. This is what your risk should be. It shouldn't be any more or any less than this, so that you have 4 opportunities to take your moves, right? I feel like you might be over leveraging too much to the point where you're taking it's just a little too high. Because if you're taking every trade and you're taking max risk, because I remember before you said you were taking like 20 contracts. If you're taking 20 contracts, it's like you either got to make a decision. You're going to stay big, you're going to stay small, right? Or stay in the middle. But you got to stay at that level. Yeah, Stanley said he probably would have passed by now. So yeah, if you just kept it big. So if you want to keep it big, you can always divide it by like 3, right? You just got to do the math. So like 7,500 times divided by 3, that's where you would be at, right? Every trade you'd be risking that much. Or if you want to go even higher, the thing with the trailing threshold is that you can't go for a huge TP, right? Because like you said, you can be in profit. Like for example, Stanley's kind of new to Apex, guys, so he doesn't really understand. Well, he didn't understand the threshold initially. So what I'm telling Stanley here is like you can't go for these big moves that are like 3 to 1 on Apex. It's just not possible. Not while you're in your eval phase. Like you can't go for a move that's like this, right? Because if you go for a move like this, say for example, your threshold is right here, right? Say you're going your max contracts, your threshold right here. So you can be in profit like way up here, but if your threshold gets brought up to like right here and you're in profit, or whoops, different line. So say your threshold gets brought up here because you're now in profit, right? If it comes down, you could still lose your account because your threshold's going to get triggered. So yeah, if you guys are not familiar with threshold, you can't really take trades like this like during your eval phase. The biggest I would recommend taking is like a 1-to-1. Once you have your PA done, you can do that, Stanley, because your threshold will like it'll go past 7,500. Like you can have your threshold at like 10,000, right? So if the situation's like that, like once you're funded and you got your PA count, say your threshold's like right here, it doesn't move up, it stays down there. So you can go up pretty high and it can come down a little bit. It's not going to stop you out right here because your threshold pretty much doubled at that point, and then now you keep going higher. So it's just the eval phase that's really annoying for the most part. Okay, guys, the entry is going to be right here at the 520 mark. If the sell signal here closes, there's not going to be entry here for market flow V2, guys. Again, same situation down here, like how we had the buy signal. If the sell signal here closes, then there's no more opportunity here for entry. So just keep that in mind. If that sell signal closes, you got to cancel your order that's sitting right here. If you guys are looking to take entry, the pending order would happen right here at the 520. But if that sell signal closes, there's no opportunity for entry. So look out for that sell signal, guys. The entry still hasn't filled yet. So technically it would have filled now. So this entry would have been filled at this moment. So this is currently running as a market flow V2. Let's look for it to push up now. Once this pushes up here, it'd be out in profit. So the sell signal still hasn't closed. The trade is still technically running at the moment. It's pushing up right there. Looks like it's about to hit its TP. Not quite. The volatility here is very low. This is why I stopped trading around 7 o'clock, because this is usually what happens. You end up getting in a sideways market, and you don't want to be in a sideways market when trading these market flow V2s, because you want to be trading at market flow. You don't want to be trading at market consolidation. So trade's still running. I'm not in this position, but I'm just giving you guys a heads up with the entry there for the market flow. I think this will push up enough to hit TP. And then at that point, probably wait for the next opportunity for price to actually push up, retrace back down, push through. So price is pushing up right there. Again, it's almost at its TP. Full TP right there. So if you guys took the market flow V2, full TP right there, guys. And then now you just wait for another opportunity for entry. So that one's done with. And then you just reset the process. Same thing again, but the volatility here is low, so you're looking for price to push up, retrace, come back up. Just the same situation over and over again. Push up, retrace, etc. Stanley's asking, in PA, once he passes the 7,500, well, the threshold isn't removed. It's just that you're, well, I mean, yeah, it's technically removed, but there's still a threshold. So like what happens is that it becomes unlimited. So like say for example, your threshold is 7,500, and then say you make 1,000 profit. Now your threshold is 8,500. So it just keeps going up, Stanley. So you can just keep stacking your account until it goes higher and higher and higher. And then when you get a payout, it'll reset back down. So I mean, there's always a threshold there. Like you can still blow your account. It's just it becomes unlimited. So like you can't go past your max drawdown, but the threshold doesn't get in the way anymore. All right, so we got price climbing up here. If price swings back down, guys, the next entry is going to happen right here at the 530 mark. So let's see right here if it fills. Hasn't filled yet. All right, still hasn't filled yet, guys. Entry right here is at the 530. It's now filled. If this pushes back up to the green over here, just wait for it to hit up, swing back up for a TP. So again, this is another reason, another example why I don't trade after 7 o'clock, because you can see here that market is just going sideways. It's not my type of market to really trade. You can see here it's not really a good entry. Let's go to our clean chart. So the range pretty much just moved back up higher over here. Now the range is currently between these points. So you guys can see how price just goes sideways right here. This is why I don't trade after 7 o'clock. This is usually what happens. We've just been seeing this for the past, I'd say maybe 5 or 6 months now, pretty much all summer. It's just back and forth movement. Nothing really going on there. So there goes the market flow. This is probably going to hit, and then after that, it's probably going to go sideways again. But yeah, this is an example of like why I don't trade after 7 o'clock. Once the market starts moving directional like this, then okay, great. I'll look for some more. I can look for some more entries at that point. But you don't really want to take market flow entries when price is going sideways like this. The whole point of market flow is so that you can go with the flow of the market. But right now, there's no flow. This is market consolidation. So the entry is still running right here. After this, I would probably sit out for a while, guys, until the market starts to move directional. So that trade's still running. But again, you want markets to be moving up like this, or you want markets to be moving down like this. It doesn't matter which direction price is going, but you want markets to be moving in flow. So you want there to be some sort of market flow where price is flowing to the upside or price is flowing to the downside. You don't want to be trading when market's flowing to the side like this, or not even actually flowing. It's just consolidating. Because you get caught in a trap here, right? Once you get caught in a trap like this is where it becomes stressful, because these entries are supposed to hit within a few seconds, right? But if you're taking this position, it's going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You're going to start to get stressed out because you're not sure if price is going to break above or if it's going to break below, right? So you don't want to take that risk, of course. You never want to take that risk. So full TP right here for this market flow, guys. Again, if you guys are still looking to take more entries, I would probably wait. Pretty much all the market flow entries for today hit. We didn't hit any stop losses for the market flows. They pretty much all played through perfectly. So like I said before, guys, you'd have to choose between one or the other, or if you have separate accounts, you can trade both. But for me, I have to stick to the breakouts because they usually, like for example, right here, this entry hit right away, but usually it ends up going sideways for a while. So if it goes sideways for a while, I'm not going to be able to get out of that breakout by 7 o'clock, and I can't overlap my position. So I have to choose between one or the other. I've chosen to take the breakouts, so it's just up to your guys' preference if you guys want to take the breakouts or if you guys want to take the market flow entries. Both strategies are good, so it just depends on what you guys plan on taking. But both strategies work perfectly fine as is. You just have to choose between one or the other, which I mean kind of sucks, but it's that's all I can really work with for the most part. But all right, guys, if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to pop into the chat. Otherwise, there's just not really much here to look at right now. Obviously, you can see prices kind of just going back and forth. Yeah, there's just not too much here to take. Right now, price is just consolidating within this little area. So I don't really recommend taking any positions within this consolidation. You have to wait for price to actually move out of this area. So you want price to push, whether it pushes to the downside, that's completely fine. Price can swing down, and then you can start looking for some sells, or if price decides to swing up from here, same situation, right? Back to the upside. So it's really just up to preference, guys. I wouldn't prefer taking any trades right now because I don't like trading when market's going like this. But I guess we'll just hang out for a bit. The ATR is currently at 17. You can see the ATR has died down quite a bit. It was at like 30. Actually, earlier this morning, it was at like 40. So it was at 40, dropped down to 30, dropped down to 20. Now it's down to 17, which is pretty low. It's pretty low right now. So if you guys have any questions, want me to cover anything, feel free to pop into the chat. Otherwise, not really seeing too much happening here. All right, so we got a sell signal here. Now that we have the sell signal, you want to look for price to break below and climb lower. If that doesn't happen, then look for the buy signal here to come up for correction, and then look for entries in that direction there. But until then, there's just not really much to work with here. Yeah, not exactly the way that I wanted to start off our trading week, but it's all good. All right. All right, so there's still no direction here, guys. Sell signals up. It's kind of just going sideways right here. Again, if you want to look for some entries, look for price to come below. Market hasn't really changed very much. I was hoping it'd move by now, but we are getting deeper and deeper into the fall season. So once the fall season here really gets into full swing, I'm hoping we're gonna get more volatility throughout the live session time. It's just the market conditions have been this way since summer, which is expected for summer, but for the fall season, you don't expect 16 ATR, right? You expect more. So, all right, we have a pending buy signal right here. If this buy signal comes up, I'll hang out with you guys a little bit longer. We'll try to see if there's some more market flow entries that'll come up. However, like I said, this isn't a good sign that price is just going sideways right here. You want price to break above. So I don't think these are going to be quality entries. They're going to be entries, but they're not going to be quality. So just keep that in mind. We got some profits over here from Jamie. So Jamie took the liquidity this morning. She locked in a profit of 1,019 on her first account and a profit of 2,438 on her second account. Nice work, Jamie. So again, like I said before, guys, the liquidity's been pretty good lately. So if you guys want to take liquidity, you can add that to your arsenal. I mean, it's just really up to your preference, guys. There's no specific, and the entry would have been right here, guys, for the market flow V2. If you guys are looking to take that, it's right here at the 530 mark. Sorry, just missed it there for a second, but so the buy signal came up. The entry would have happened right here. It looks like it's about to hit TP. So full TP on that one right there. I'll look for the next one if it does come up. You guys can see these market flow entries are very good when there's volatility. When there's no volatility, it becomes a little bit tricky. So the volatility here isn't very high, but it's still there. So I think as long as the ATR is above 15, you can still take these market flow V2s. It's just going to be a little tricky looking for these entry points because it's just not very consistent with like how the movement here is playing through. So we got this candle closing in about 10 seconds. The entry for the next one is still going to be down here at the 530 mark. So entry right here at the 530 mark. Again, if you guys are looking for opportunity. If price climbs up higher, that's fine. You'll just move this up to the higher point right here at the 540. But at this very moment, the entry would still be right here at the 530 mark. So 530 is now filled. If it swings back up here to the green, obviously TP on that trade. Price is climbing back up, full TP right there. So 2 back-to-back market flow entries right there if you guys took them. Again, the volatility here is very, very low. So, all right. See what happens here next. So if you guys are looking to take another entry, the entry is still going to happen again right here at the 530. So I'll keep marking up these market flow for you guys. Again, they're not the best entries, but I mean, they're still playing through as they're supposed to. So again, entry again right here is still going to be at the 530 mark. If you want to get it at the higher point right here at the 540, you can. But at this specific point in time, I think the 530 is still the ideal price point. If this candle here closes green, then you can move this up higher to the 540 right here with your pending buy limit. So we have a buy signal here. The trend's bullish. Price is still climbing up higher. It's currently at the resistance point right here. Let's see if it actually breaks through at this point. Here's the SR zone chart. All right, next entry is going to be right here at the 540 if you guys are looking to take that entry. So basically what I talk about when I talk about these entries, this is where your pending limit should be sitting, your pending buy limit. So you just got your buy limit just hanging out right there, waiting for it to come back down, fill it, come back up. Come back down, fill it, go back up. It's the same process, just a repeat process. This is why the 10 points is key here, because you can just get in and out very quickly, wait for the next one, repeat the process, repeat the process, repeat the process, etc. It's pretty straightforward. You know, you're basically going for that low-hanging fruit. Generally, I like taking these types of entries, but because I'm on the breakouts right now, that's kind of what I'm sticking to at the moment. All right. So if this becomes a case where the breakout hits right away, like within the first couple minutes, then I'll start taking market flows with it. The only problem is that for the past week or so, we've been holding on to those positions pretty late. I think even last week we held on to a position till 11 o'clock, which is super late. All right, we're getting close to the sessions right here. And like I said earlier, guys, target price point is going to be opening price. We're not there yet, but we're getting close to it. Opening price is right here. And we're getting pretty close to it now. All right, so market flow V2 is still down here at the 540 mark. If you guys want to move it up closer, you guys can. But like I said, I want to keep it as close to the pivots as possible. So closest point right here is going to be the 540 mark. I had 1 second. All right, so I'm back. I don't know if this hit TP already. I mean, it's probably gonna hit. There you go, full TP right there. So another market flow right there, full TP. There's about like 4 entries I think here that hit so far, or maybe three on this specific momentum, and then a couple that hit over here as well. So I think we had three over here that hit, and then maybe another three or four that hit right here. So if you guys are looking for another entry, it's going to happen again right here at the 540 mark. So again, guys, like this entry is super simple. Like for the market flow V2s, this is basically what we were taking for like the longest time. I mean, obviously it works well. And if we're able to get the breakouts to hit early like we did today, then I'm probably going to start taking these as well. Let's see. Jason said we need a breakout. Yeah, exactly. Jason said the breakout needs to happen within 60 seconds or less. Yeah, usually. So let me go back over here real quick. I'm going to go and analyze this from yesterday's market. So Jason over here, we had the Asia range. Yeah, the criteria didn't really play out today, it looks like. So with the Asia range, London range, it was supposed to be a bigger New York range, but for right here, it had a huge spike, which is all good. I mean, I just like to use this as a confluence to see if this would have helped, but it wouldn't have really helped at all. So I don't know if your analysis was the same on this, Jason, but this was supposed to be New York session range as well. It's supposed to be a continuous range. But I already knew it was going to be a range because it's Monday. So for one, it's Monday, and then it's also NFP. You guys can see over here, we had this big manipulation to the downside, and then now it's pushing back up because technically today was supposed to be bullish, and that's why I was okay with the buy. But it didn't. It didn't come down though, Jason. So if you look over here, if you look at the charts that you sent me, it wasn't coming down at all. It was going back and forth. So you see over here, it was ranging. Well, so this right here, let me see. Okay, so this might be what you're referring to. You're referring to the Asia was a range, but it looks like it could have been an expansion, right? So if you're looking for an expansion there, it would be, yeah, you're right. No. Yeah, no, you're right. So now that I'm looking back at it, to me, this looks like a range, but like, if you're to, I guess you can say this was an expansion. It's not a clean expansion, but you can see because right here is ranging, and then it came down at the very last couple minutes. So an expansion to me is like this. It's like a continuation, like a nice smooth drop down, right? So if this was coming down from here, I would look for something like this. But I could see what you mean by that. So this right here was probably Asia range or bearish expansion. And then this would be London range. And then this could have been New York range or bearish continuation. I see what you mean. Yeah, but like you said too, but the market makers are bullish. Yeah, I agree. I wasn't expecting it to come down, well, I mean, I was expecting it to move a direction, but you can see here it's now correcting back up. And here we go, its price goes all the way back up. So you guys can see this whole drop right here that we got caught in earlier this morning. This was all manipulation. Price just got manipulated back down. And then right here, it's back to where it was on open. So it's like, if you look at this here, it's like this movement down here never really happened. Price is back to where it was supposed to be right here. So if you guys rolled this back to open, I talked about this earlier, that was going to be our target price point. Right here, price is literally back at open. So looking at that so far, there's no entries here to take the market flow V2s there's just no market flow V2s because we're right at the sessions right here. So the next entry would happen right here at the sessions, which obviously we wouldn't take. Here is the clean chart. So now that we see the market over here kind of move back up, I'm okay with the loss for today with the breakout because you can see over here that the drop was just manipulation. It wasn't a directional push. It wasn't like a continuation push. It was more so manipulated drop here during the breakout and then correction right back up. because the correction happened right away. You know, it's 7:35 right now. So the correction happened within like 30 minutes to an hour or so. It is what it is, but you know, from like what I said before in the data, it's that's how the trades happen. Like you just have to take them and then eat the losses when they do come up. But then when they do win, you'll usually recoup your losses. So I'm hoping the rest of this week is pretty much gonna move in our favor. And then for the NFP on Friday, I'm gonna take an opposite move. So we'll see. Yeah, Jason said I think it would go down a bit then move up, like you said, because money is on bullish. Yeah, and I agree with you too, Jason. They're trying to hit more all-time highs, right? The all-time. Let's go here to the clean chart. So, like looking at this here, we might be close to the all-time high actually, like right there. So the all-time high is getting pretty near. All-time high is right here at it's at 43,005. So we're about 500 points, less than 500 points from the all-time high. So I think we're for sure going to push all-time highs during this week. Obviously, it's NFP. I think it's going to keep climbing even higher. And we'll see what happens from there. All right, guys, 7:40 right now. Not really expecting much else to happen here. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, we're getting closer and closer to 8 o'clock. It's just not really a good time to take any entries here because there's so many red flags. The next entry would happen right here at the 80 mark, the 42,580, but it's going to have to cut into the session, so I don't want to recommend taking it. If price does push up higher, there's still some more targets up here. So if price pushes up any higher from where it's currently at, you have a ton of liquidity sitting right here. So, I mean, I guess we'll see if this here pushes through, but I'm not really expecting too much to happen from here until 8 o'clock. The volatility here, again, is starting to flatten out. So you can see how the market volatility here is starting to die down. You're probably going to get some consolidation here, but then eventually I'm expecting price to push up higher and then probably blast through this liquidity because this is where it was supposed to hit. So earlier for the breakout happened right here, right at 6:30. This is why I was okay with taking the buy for the day because I saw all the liquidity sitting right here. And I was like, okay, this liquidity is probably going to get hit. Unfortunately for us, we ended up getting caught in the fake out to the downside before it ended up coming up any higher. But it's all good. You know, it's all part of the game. You have to like play your cards right. If you guys weren't here for my explanation earlier with regard to my data set, so I pulled up the data here for the breakout. This is all available to you guys too. If you guys want to pull up my spreadsheet, the spreadsheet is available to you guys. This is the data set for every single trade. So if you took every trade from 2022 to 2024, this is missing a couple months because this is the only data I was able to pull. So it's missing about 6 months. So basically the profits would be double. So for example, right here, the profits on this would be, or let's see the win rate. So the win rate is 97 wins divided by 164 trades. This is a little bit lower than what it would be with the reversed NFP, but this is about a 59% win rate, which is a good win rate for a one-to-one strategy. Basically, one-to-one strategy should have about above a 50% win rate to be profitable long-term. So for example, here, 3,000 profit or 3,000 points. So we'll do 3,000 times 2, which is obviously 6,000. If you were to take this with 3 contracts, 3 times 5 times 6,000, profit potential would be about 90,000 within just one account. So for example, if you're trading 20 accounts with Apex, you multiply it by 20 and that yields a pretty good profit, right? That's pretty much everybody's goal here. I think everybody here is trading with Apex for the most part. So that's kind of what to expect. The numbers aren't that great when you're trading the raw data. So this is the raw data by itself. But if you were to change it up a little bit, so for example, if you were to skip trades and only take trades when you're not having back-to-back losses, the win rate here changes a little bit. So right here, for example, 61 divided by, so 688 wins divided by 149 trades. The win rate's a little bit the same, but the real change happens when you start to reverse the NFP trade. So for example, this is what I'm going to do this week. These are the stats from NFP if you take the opposite trades for NFP, because what I've noticed is that this strategy tends to lose during NFP because of the high impact news. And to combat that, you would just do the opposite. So instead of going the direction of momentum, you just do or instead of going the opposite of momentum, you'd go the direction of momentum. So for example, here, this is now 102 wins divided by 164 trades. The win rate goes up dramatically. It's now at like 62.1% win rate. The profit here is about 4,000. So like I said, 4,000 times 2, that's going to be 8,000. And then do the same math, right? 3 times 5 times 8,000 points. That's going to yield you about 120,000 profit. Again, if you're trading 20 Apex accounts times 20, it's going to be 2.4 million. So you guys can see the numbers here are pretty big. But that's only if you follow this long term. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to follow the strategy long term. If you guys want to follow with me, feel free. But if you guys want to take the easier strategy where you're going to make less profits, but you're going to have a higher win rate, then obviously you want to stick to the market flow V2s. So you guys can see the market flow V2s here are hitting pretty much every entry. The only problem is that you're going to be stacking up profits a little slower. So if you want to keep that in mind, again, if you want to take the market flow V2s, typically I take them with I believe a 5 contract. So I'll do the math here. 3 times 5 times 100. Or sorry, that was wrong. 3 times 5 times 10. So I'm taking 7 contracts actually. 7 times 5 times 10. The profit for that is going to be about 350 per trade. I swear I was making like 250, maybe 6 contracts. Oh, okay, never mind. Sorry, I did the math wrong. So I was doing 5 contracts. It's 250 per trade. So if you're to take 3 trades, usually it's going to be about times 3, about 750 per day. Say, for example, you take these entries basically 4 times a week or 3 times a week. So your profit per week could be around like 2,250, around that area. You do that times 20. This is how much profit you can probably yield. So you guys can see the profits are going to be about the same, but it just depends on what strategy you want to take. If the volatility here stays consistent, then I'll start taking the market flows with you guys. But the only problem is that when the trade lingers past 7, I can't take the market flows with you, right? So that's going to be the main determining factor if I'm going to start taking market flows with you guys. Because right now, my main focus is the breakouts. And then obviously from there, I'll decide whether I want to start taking the market flows with you guys. Because I can't take both right now. So liquidity right here just got hit, guys. If you guys took that liquidity, looks like it already hit TP, or it's about to hit TP. So the one level of liquidity right here is currently active. Now we're looking for this to retrace back down. If you're taking a market flow, next market flow entry is going to be right here at the 600 mark. So, all right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap this up pretty soon. There's not much here to really look at. It's 7:43 right now, so we got about 15 minutes till 8. You guys can see the market is moving, but the volatility is a little low. So liquidity right there just got hit, guys. If you guys took that level of liquidity right there, full TP. So that first level of liquidity right here, it's all done with full TP. Now, if you're looking to take a market flow V2, your entry is going to be right here at the 600 mark. So if you guys want to put your pending order right there at the 600, feel free. Hasn't filled yet. Looks like it's about to fill, or it was going to fill right there. So it hasn't filled yet. Again, the entry is going to be right here at the 600 mark. All right. So looking at this here right now, the market flow is going to get moved up higher. This one didn't get filled, so it was at 600 over here. This one never came down to fill it. It would have been nice if it did because it would have filled it right away, hit TP, but it didn't fill it. So the next entry for market flow is going to be right here at the 610 mark, guys. Next entry is going to be right here at the 610. Once we have that, that is going to be the next entry. So we're having some directional move here. This is actually really good for the market. So looking at this here now that we're at the clean chart, this is where the market flow starts to thrive, right? So you want to see this happen where price starts to continue climbing and climbing up higher. This is market flow. And what you want to do is you want to flow with the market. You just want to wait for that retracement. Once the retracement happens, that's where you're going to take your entry. So for example, right here, the entry is going to be at the 610 mark, right? So I'll just mark it up right here, 610. This is where you're looking for market to flow. So you're looking for price to come up, retrace, come up, retrace, come up, retrace, come back up higher. That's pretty much what you're looking for here. So the entry's right there at the 610 mark, hasn't filled yet. If it climbs up any higher, then you're just going to go with the market flow again. You're going to look for price to push up, retrace, push up higher, retrace, push up higher, etc. All right, guys, it's getting close to 8 o'clock, so I think I'm going to wrap this up right now. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to, let's see, Rashida said 5-minute levels running. Full TP should have taken it. Yeah, no, I agree with you, Rashida. Again, if you guys haven't taken the level, so there's a lot of entries here that you could say. So Rashida is looking at the levels entry. The levels entries, if you guys think about it, it's pretty much the same thing, right? So if you look at the market flow V2s, you look at the levels entry, they're very similar because for the levels, you're getting in at these levels, right? So it's basically the same thing that Rashida was talking about, but for the levels entry, you're looking for price to break past it, come back, fill it. So it's really the same thing. That's the good thing about the strategies that I teach and the strategies that we take here because they're all very similar. Whether you're taking market flow V2, a momentum pullback scalp, a levels entry, they're all pretty much the same thing. They're entries at whole numbers. It's just the entry points are a little different, right? So instead of getting in at a specific level, you're getting in at where the pivots are kind of lining up with the level, which also lines up with the snipe strategy. So if you guys have traded with me for a while, you guys remember the snipe strategy. It's pretty much the same thing. It's just instead of the levels here, you're using the SR zones. So you guys can see over here how the price is respecting the SR zones. Price comes up, bounce off the pivot. Bounce off the SR zone, comes back up higher, bounce off the SR zone, and it just keeps following through. So pretty smooth. Let's see. Stanley said, it seems like Apex doesn't seem like Apex is going to extend the sale. Really? You gotta wait for the counter to go. Well, it hasn't ended yet. Stanley. So like I wouldn't be surprised if they do extend it because the because you've probably been getting those emails. So they've been sending out emails how they're making changes at Apex and stuff and like improving things. I think they're gonna extend the sale again just because of that. So they're gonna use that as an excuse to extend the sale because you guys probably everyone probably got the email from Daryl, the CEO of Apex. He basically said all the changes he was making and improving, and payouts are getting faster and stuff like that, which they are. They are getting a lot faster. Um, so if they do come out and the sale gets extended, you might want to try out NFP, of course, that we talked about. I'm not going to tell everybody about it, but yeah. So guys, this week I'm not going to actually, I mean, I guess I can. If you guys want to have a mentoring session, just let me know. I could have it on Wednesday or Thursday. If not, it's fine. We're not gonna have a mentoring session this week. But if you guys do want me to have it, just let me know and we'll have it. I wasn't planning on having one this week because there's not really too much to cover. Everything's pretty much we've been doing the same thing for the past couple of weeks, so it's not really necessary. But if you guys do want me to host it, just let me know. See, Stanley said sentiment went from 76 short to 65 long in a matter of minutes. So I don't think that's correct. Let me see. So if you keep refreshing it, you might be stuck on like so you can see over here, Stanley. So this over here, see like whenever you refresh it, you might be stuck on like it might be glitched. But if you keep refreshing it and you see the numbers like it stays the same, that's what the number should be. So I think you might have like your IG settings might be glitched to the point where it was set like it's just stuck on that number for whatever reason it says 65% long, but realistically it's at 76% short. So what I would recommend is when you look at the sentiment, just keep refreshing it to see because you're gonna see like I'm pretty sure if you keep clicking it, you're gonna see it change to like 65% long, and then it's gonna go back to 76% short. That's why I don't like using this one very much. I used to use the daily FX, but it doesn't come up anymore for some reason. Let me see if I can find the daily FX on here. Daily FX. Yeah, it looks like IG bought daily FX because there's not even a daily FX website anymore. Yeah. Because the thing is, daily FX wasn't allowed. US clients weren't allowed to go on daily FX. So if you type in daily FX, it just goes straight to this website now. So you can't even pull up the actual daily FX web. Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't work anymore. But yeah, that's how you would fix it, Stanley. Just refresh it a couple of times. It should be short. So that long was just not it's probably been it's probably that was probably like the data from like years ago. Because I don't think the market's been long for a long time. And it probably won't be long until like the end of the year or maybe like it's been short pretty much all year basically. But it'll probably be long probably by next year once the economy gets better. All right, so let's see if there's anything else here. Ross is asking, what are the settings for the ATR? So my settings for the ATR, I just changed it to seven, the 7 day. So if you go over here, or not 7 day, 7 period. So if you go to your trailing stop, I just changed it to 7. So I can see what happens within the previous 7 candles. You can leave it at 14 if you like. I mean, 14 is okay. You can see over here, it's about the same. It doesn't change very much. But I have it at 7 so that I can know what's happening like right then and there. It changes faster. So I know what's happening within the past 7 candles. It's only off by like a point or two, but you can see how it adjusts very quickly. So you know where the ATR is currently at the very moment. Because if you do 14, it's going to pull back to the past 14 candles. And then sometimes the 14 candles might just be like, you might have one big one and then the rest are small. But you want to kind of focus on like what's happening right here more recently. So, all right, guys, it's about to be 8 o'clock. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, if you guys want me to have a mentoring session, just let me know. I can host a mentoring session Wednesday or Thursday, but there's not really much new to cover. I've pretty much gone over the data set. I think my time is best used updating the data set. So if you guys ever want to go back, I'm always doing different models here. So I'm trying to figure out different ways to improve the win rate for the breakout. The big thing that I changed, or not really changed, but I've added to the criteria is I'm going to take reverse trades for NFP, and then I'm segregating the losses only by week. because it doesn't really make sense to segregate the losses like from like Friday. So say for example, we have a loss Friday and then we have a loss Monday, right? It just doesn't make sense because it's a brand new week. So like the weird market conditions from the previous week don't typically carry over to the following week. So for example, today we had a loss. If we have a loss tomorrow, then I'm going to sit out until we have a win, and then I'll take a trade. But I'm hoping tomorrow's going to be a win. I'm hoping the rest of the week is just going to be back-to-back wins. I'm surprised we lost today because, or I mean, not really, but sort of because I don't really see too many losses here on Mondays. I mean, it happens, but it is what it is. So again, guys, just a reminder, this week is NFP, so we have a ton of news coming up this week. It's going to be a little tricky for the market flow V2s, but I'm hoping for the breakouts, it's going to work in our favor because there's going to be a lot more volatility as we approach NFP this week on Friday. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any more questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this up for the day. We're about 4 minutes till 8, and you can see here the market is kind of just going back into this range. So. All right, guys, if you guys have any questions, reach out. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session.